tough things that happen relationally, working in ministry, and just in life across the board. The nice thing is that there are some good things that we can do if we're committed to help those relationships function smoothly. But these are not the easy things. And having successful relationships in ministry has a lot to do with good leadership. And I don't know if you noticed this, but any leadership course that you might have ever taken or a class like this that deals with leadership, you never see a sign that says, "Come try leadership, it's easy." It doesn't really exist. Leadership's tough. I heard one person say one time that ministry is basically a series of difficult discussions. And I don't know if you found that to be true. If you're dealing with real issues, I'm sure that you are finding that to be true. I've definitely found that to be true. But that's part of the job, that's part of the calling, is to have difficult discussions and deal with things and not let things run on forever and ever that are unhealthy.
Here's my basic overall philosophy, is kind of tied into something earlier. 50% of being the drummer in your band is going to be how well do you play the drums, and the other 50%, for some of you, I know this is old hat, but the other 50% is what kind of person are you? How do you deal with other people? Are you positive? Do you think positively? Do you try to lift people up, or do you try to bring them down? And are you going to go, "Oh, lady, you're out of your mind. What are you talking about?" Or are you just going to go, "Wow, I'm sorry that's bumming you out." I found for my career, it's worked in my favor to kind of be the one that is the no drama guy. You know, what do you need for this? And, "Oh, whatever you've got." And you kind of, Lincoln Brewster and I were talking about this earlier. You can have guitar players that say, "I'm going to have this pedal and this and this amp and this chord and this has to do this and this." I think in his earlier clinic today, he said, "Bring me up your guitar." And I think, knowing Lincoln and how amazing he is as a guitar player, he probably made that kid's guitar sound a lot like him, like Lincoln. So the more that you can just kind of be the easy person, be the one that doesn't have the ego, check your ego at the door, think about the groove, think about the dynamics, think about being a musical drummer, and just think about trying to be the best, as it is in general as drummers. We have a little bit less to bring to the party than the songwriting, lead singing, guitar playing frontman, you know. So since we can't really bring our songs in lots of times, and maybe we're not the best singer in the world, at least we can do a good job at keeping the groove, picking the right tempo for the song, keeping that tempo through the whole song, really being dynamic. We talked earlier about the blap on the snare drum for bringing the verse down. Just try to be musical and try to be someone that is a team player, and it'll go a long way.
Let's raise your arms up over your head. And I want you to feel like you're untucking your shirt. That's how far you're pulling it up, okay? And you should raise your ribcage. Sorry if you didn't have the right shirt. Right, now, I want you to feel where your ribcage is. When your ribcage is right there, it's not settling and putting pressure on your diaphragm. That's good. Now, bring your arms down. Please look out for your neighbor. But keep your ribcage right where it was, okay? As your ribcage is right there, now that's kind of where you want to keep your ribcage during singing. But it's really important to relax the shoulders. If you keep tension in your body, it's going to lend toward all kinds of things we don't want to happen. So keep your shoulders relaxed, keep that ribcage high. You want your feet slightly apart, just because you're going to get better balance, you're going to get a better foundation to sing from. Now, again, it's the stomach muscles that are actually what you're going to feel as you're kicking that air out. And when you fill up, put your arms around your hands around your cage and kind of feel. All right, now take a nice deep breath, and you should be able to feel the rib cage expand all the way back into your back muscle there. Okay, take a deep breath, and I want you to feel it into your back. Okay, you want to be able to expand all the way into the back so you're getting a good full expansion. Now let it out slowly and feel it collapse.
This pattern is like a... So it's like sitting right on top of that 16th note, 8th note groove in the hi-hat. So I'm not only going to practice this, when I practice this, I practice it what I call all touches. You know what that means? So in other words, I'll practice it legato, like I'm going to play it. I'll practice it staccato. I'll practice it dotted. Reverse the dot. So what you're doing, practice it soft, practice it loud, practice it a little bit slower, practice it up to tempo with a drum machine or metronome. So what that does is it just kind of gets your fingers prepared for anything. You know, it's like looking at those patterns every possible way it could look at it. And then when you go back to playing it, you'll be fluent at it. And again, remember that rule. You know, point 9, the practice efficiently rule. In a nutshell, spend 90% of your time on the 10% that really needs it. You know, I think we could, everybody's limited on time, right? I think we could accomplish so much more if we would do that. Just focus on the spots that really need it.
Once you see some of the tricks I'll show you today, I want you to walk away from this seminar going, okay, I heard it. I heard what he was talking about. Now all I got to do is go practice and turn some knobs and try to hear it. Okay? Fundamentals in any mix. This is a key element for me. If you've listened to my mixes, you'll know this. The fundamental for me, there's 3 of them. First fundamental, rhythm. The rhythm is key to the modern music. Latin. If you don't have that kind of funk stuff going on, it's not got a Latin feel to it. If you're doing a Chris Tomlin song and you don't have that kick drum doing the 4 on the floor thing, it doesn't feel right. You can have the kick drum sound like this, and it's not going to engage anybody in the room. When that kick drum gets some fullness to it, it feels good. So key element, rhythm. The next one, which is probably equal or greater, is the vocal. See the little shing there? The vocal, because the vocal is, again, the key piece. Here's the deal. Remember I said, what are you going to focus on? The 2 things you're going to focus on when you start your sound check, and you have 5 minutes because we've just started and we haven't taken our worship leader to Starbucks to help him understand that we need more than him just starting to sing the song, is you're going to focus on your kick, your snare, and your lead vocal. If you nail those 3 elements and get them sounding good, you have more time now to work on all the rest of the melody instruments that fit in underneath it and surround it. Because as long as you hear those elements, here's an example. When you're in your car next time, take your stereo, turn it down all the way on, whatever your local Christian radio station is. Turn it up real slow until you first hear something. Until you just, I hear something. It will be the vocal and the snare and maybe some of the kick. I guarantee you will not hear the melody instruments at that point. So would that be arguably to be said that those are the loudest things in the mix? Yeah, give or take. I mean, it's all very, very close, but perceptually, those things need to be as hot as possible.
Our normal band is kind of what you saw this morning. It starts with drums, bass, electric, and acoustic. When we set up a normal weekend, we usually have 2 acoustics and 1 electric most of the time. Sometimes we'll swap that out and do 2 electrics and 1 acoustic. Keys, percussion, and 2 to 3 vocalists that just do that. Obviously, with all of those people involved, there's a ton going on all at once, or can be, right? So the key to me in making it sound great to everybody out front is that everybody has to think in terms of their part and how that works with everything else. Would you agree with that? I feel like kind of common sense here, but let's just set the ground rules. Everybody okay with that? You have to think about your piece in terms of the whole and how that fits with everything else, okay?